In today's episode of the podcast, I'm going to be talking about Google Ads performance metrics. I'm going to talk about the numbers that impact your business. As a business owner, Google Ads is a very important channel because you pay to get clicks to your website. But before you look at your Google Ads metric, I want you to look at your marketing as a whole. Look at the customer journey. This will help you understand where Google Ad fits. You have the awareness side where people become aware of your brand, your product, or your service. It's good for them to be aware of your product or service because when they're ready to buy, then they remember your brand and then they have more likelihood to choose your brand. That is why brand marketing, creating awareness about your product and your service to people in the market will really help. The reason why this is important is, according to research and statistics, of the 100% of customers that you have potential to acquire or to attract, only 5% of those numbers are actually ready to buy. The other 95%, you need to make sure that you're top of mind. You need to make sure that you have a place in their brain. So by the time they're ready to buy, they will remember your brand. Two things happen. When they remember your brand, they can easily come directly through SEO and organic channel or come to your website directly. So that reduces the amount you pay for Google Ads. So what I'm trying to say here is think about marketing in a broader context when you're looking at your Google Ads metrics so you can know where it fits. Then another thing I want you to understand is how you split your marketing budget also impacts on the performance of your Google Ads. If you invest heavily in brand marketing, as I said earlier on, people will be familiar with your brand and they will come and buy from you. When they're making that purchase decision, because they're familiar with your brand, they will buy from you. So that's the top of the funnel. Then you have the middle of the funnel. The middle of the funnel is where people are comparing what they will buy. So someone wants to buy, say, for example, a car. They would look at different cars. They're not just going to make that decision straight away. They're going to compare different brands, different products. Say, for example, someone is looking to get a solicitor as well. If they don't have recommendations from friends and family, they would look at different solicitors. The same with accountants. They will look at different accountants. That is the consideration stage of the customer purchase journey. And then they would then shortlist the one organization that they will go with because that is the best organization for them. Then that's the bottom of the funnel, the conversion path within your marketing. So when you think about marketing in that context, then you ask yourself the question, where does Google Ads fit? Your Google Ads, depending on how you optimize it, can get people that are in the awareness stage. They want to know about your product or they want to know about a particular problem they're trying to solve. If they see your ad there, they're going to click on it, but they're not ready to buy. So that ad gets wasted. If you then capture people at the consideration stage, again, those people, some of them will purchase, some of them will not purchase. But when you get them at the actual conversion stage where they're actually thinking of buying, then you have a higher chance of converting. So what I'm trying to say here is you need to understand this customer journey so you can understand all the Google Ad metrics that you see. So let me start by looking at Google Ads top of the funnel metrics. You hear something like impression. When someone goes to Google and they type in solicitors in London, for example, or dentist in London, they will be presented with 3 or 4 options at the top of Google. All these options are paid advertising. Impression is the metric that says you show up. So what I'm trying to say is if your company, your website shows up at the top of those Google listings in the paid channel, that means you have an impression. An impression does not necessarily mean they will click on your ad. Your impression will get a click because people are drawn to what you said. So this is what it means by your ad copy. The words that you use, the value proposition that you communicate will either make them click on your ad or not click on your ad. So the first metric you want to pay attention to when you're looking at your Google Ads reports is the impression. You have metrics like reach, impression share, but I'm not going to bore you with all that, but make sure that your ad is actually showing. You need to show up so people can click on you. If you're not showing up, then they're not going to click on you. So the next thing you want to look at when you're looking at your Google Ads metric is look at your click-through rate. So what is the percentage of people that have seen that ad that are actually clicking on that ad? That is really, really important. I want you to take a pen and a paper and write this down. So as a business owner, these are the metrics that you want to focus on. You don't want a lot of noise. You want to focus on these particular metrics. Your click-through rates, that shows that, okay, people are actually clicking on your ad. And there's another metric you also want to pay attention to. Is called quality score. This is Google's interpretation of the quality of your ad. It's actually telling Google that your ad and your landing page is actually very, very relevant. So Google will grade this by 1 to 10. You want to make sure that your quality score is actually between 8 to 10. That is a very, very good score. Anything below that, you need to work on it. So as a business owner, you need to focus on your impression, you need to focus on your click-through rate, and you need to focus on your quality score as well. So now let's talk about the bottom of the funnel. When people are actually closer to buying, closer to converting, you want to pay attention and ask your agency or your in-house Google Ads team that, okay, what exactly is the landing page experience? This is a metric that actually shows that people like your landing page. This tells Google that your landing page is actually useful and relevant to the search term. Another important metric that I want you to focus on as a business owner is your conversion rate. This is the percentage of ad click that resulted in conversion. You know, at the beginning, I said your impression is the metric that shows that you are actually appearing on Google. The click is actually people clicking on that. And then your quality score is Google telling you how relevant your ad is to the landing page. When they then get on your landing page, people need to take an action. They either need to request a callback, or they need to fill out a form, or they need to even book an appointment and pay for it. So your conversion rate is actually the percentage of people that click on the ad that resulted into a phone call, a form submission, or a lead generation to your business. So that is an important metric you want to focus on as well. And then you also want to focus on how much does it cost to get one conversion. You want to break down how much you spend, how much you pay Google for you to get that customer. One thing I want you to understand is the fact that someone completed a form on your website or requested a callback or booked an appointment without paying does not necessarily mean that's a complete conversion. That conversion is not 100% complete, because in B2B lead generation websites, that form goes to a sales team. So a salesperson needs to then contact and talk to that person. I'll give you an example. I was recently looking for a coach. So I went online, filled out a form, and after I filled out the form, I filled out 3 websites because I wasn't sure who I was going to go with. Filled out the first, filled out the second, filled out the third. The first person got back to me and said they don't offer in-person coaching, that they only offer virtual. The second person emailed and said, can we talk for 15 minutes so I can understand if we're a good fit? The third person did not reach out to me until the second day. So what I'm trying to say here is the Google ads did the job of getting me to convert. But after that conversion, the follow-up between these 3 forms that I filled online, they were not the same. One of them wasn't really engaging, just said, oh, I can only do one of these services. I cannot do that service. The person did not request to have a conversation. The second one requested my phone number. My phone number was already in the form, requested a 15-minute conversation that same day. And the third one did not reply to my message until the second day. So out of these 3, I went with the middle one because that person requested a phone call, and I agreed a time with the person, and then we had a phone conversation, discussed the numbers and everything. So what I'm trying to say here is, whilst Google ads worked for the 3 of them, only one of them was able to convert me to become a customer because that person did the post-purchase customer experience effectively. So what I'm trying to say here is, as a business owner, especially in lead generation, your Google ads could be giving you a lot of leads, a lot of quality leads, but it might be how your sales team or how your after website interaction with the person or your potential customers, how that is developed would impact on you closing the deal. So this is really, really important. As a business owner, when you're creating your Google Ads report, you do not want to create a report that is noisy. You want to know how much you're getting visibility in terms of your impression. You want to know how good your click-through rate is. You want to know your cost per acquisition, how much you're paying, to make sure that you're not paying too high. You also want to look at your conversion. And also, you want to see how your Google Ads is also connected to your email and CRM system. When those conversions finally complete outside of Google Ads, you want to make sure that those data is integrated into Google Ads. That would then increase the quality of the leads you're getting and reduce your cost per acquisition. So Google Ads has a lot of numbers, but you as a business owner, I just want you to focus on just the top numbers that are important. Make sure that your Google Ads is actually showing, you're getting impression, make sure that you're getting enough clicks, and make sure that you're getting enough conversion and your cost per acquisition is low. You do not need a huge report to know that your Google Ads is working. You just want to make sure that your landing page is actually relevant. You find out about that with your landing page experience and your quality score. Then another thing that you need to do, earlier on I mentioned about the top of the funnel, the awareness part. It's very easy for people that are not ready to buy to find your company through Google Ads. And if they keep clicking on that ad, even though they're not ready to buy, you have a higher click-through rate, you have a higher impression. Those metrics are vanity metrics, but they're costing you money because those people are not actually ready to buy. That is why it's important every now and then, maybe every 3 months to every 6 months, you do a Google Ads audit. I know a lot of small businesses run their Google Ads themselves. They do it internally. They watch YouTube videos and they try to manage and do Google Ads. Google Ads is part of a marketing mix. It's not just Google Ads alone. You need to make sure that your Google Ads is integrated properly with your organic SEO. It's integrated properly with your email system. It's integrated properly with your social media. So your Google Ads does not work in isolation. That's why you need someone with a broad understanding of marketing to help you make sure that your Google Ads is working perfectly with your organic SEO and AI search as well. My name is Femi Olajiga. I've been a performance marketing person for a long time, so I can really help you connect the dots between organic traffic and your Google Ads. And these metrics that I mentioned, some of the metrics that you need to focus on, you can get like the awareness side of your customers from organic traffic. You can even get it from social media to create brand awareness. So when people then click on your Google Ads, they have enough information and the conversion rate becomes really, really high. So you can book a free 30-minute session with me. I can help you audit your Google Ads to make sure that you're actually focusing on performance metrics that actually impact on revenue growth and profit growth. My name is Femi Olajiga. You can book a 30-minute free discovery session with me. Click on the link below and book a session. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, click like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching it, if you're listening to it on podcast platform, also share, like, and subscribe. Again, Google Ads performance metrics is really important. If you're measuring what matters, you get profit and growth. If you're measuring the wrong thing and focusing on the wrong thing, you will waste a lot of money. So reach out to me and I'll help you audit your Google Ads to make sure that the metrics that you're actually paying attention matters a lot. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you in the next episode. Bye.